there's actually uh, there's actually some people who are beginning organizing for a general strike. I don't think they think it's going to happen tomorrow or even in 2025. But it's a, I don't know how they're doing, but it's an interesting idea and certainly a timely idea. Of course, it depends on your conception of a general strike. Sometimes that means all the workers not going to work, and sometimes it means occupying your job place. Sometimes it means just shut shit down. Yeah. Whether you whether you got a job or not, you know. The Palestinians have, I like their view of a general strike. Everybody out in the street and shut everything down. That I think that's the modern, practical exercise of a general strike. But Malcolm X, I think, would be very pleased if he were alive today. And the reason why is that there's a worldwide revolution going on. And I don't mean that in a hyperbolic way or wishful thinking. It's actually going on. I don't know if people. I think if people don't think about that. They think about what's in front of them, paying bills, et cetera, or whatever they're worried about. Who's coming after them? Even a lot of political activists, I'm not sure they think that way. Because we're all in whatever movements that we're in, and we're motivated by issues. Solidarity with Palestine, community control. Whatever it is. Fighting for a minimum wage, fighting the destruction of climate and the existential threat that the planet is in. But there is a worldwide revolution going on. And the bottom line is that U.S. imperialism is on a decline, you know, yeah. And tremendous countries like socialist China is on the rise, along with most of the rest of the world, and particularly the global South. Mm. And that revolution, is uneven, and there's setbacks, uh, and it takes many forms, from Palestinians, you know, using taking up arms to fight for their freedom, to some other country, developing economically, so they can have some level of self determination, and that's happening a lot with the help of China, and to some extent, uh, 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 or associations like the BRICS. I think y'all familiar with that. The Belt and Road Initiative. There are other things I don't even know. Sarah knows most of them. Some other congress may know. So this is no longer a world where U.S. imperialism says jump and everybody says how high. Those days are over. And with that, U.S. capitalism and the entire capitalist system is being challenged in a way that has never been challenged in history. It's important to bring these out, comrades, because I don't think people are thinking about that. That they're, understandably, naturally, they're focused on what's in front of them. But, these are opportunities for us to discuss what people don't see. Some people see it, but what people don't see. But that doesn't mean it ain't happening. There's a worldwide revolution that is profoundly changing the world situation, and it's gonna continue to do that. And I'll tell you, the historical context of it is the waning days of capitalism. Capitalism in its death throes, capitalism in its end phase. We're not putting that to a time frame. That we can't do that. Uh, but the worm has turned. This is the situation. I mean, you know, South Africa voted some time ago to expropriate some of the land that is held by the minority white settlers. They've had it, Well, overthrowing apartheid did not change that. I think it's like 95% of the land. They're not, just to be clear, they're not expropriating it all. They should, but they're expropriating some of it to give it back to the people. And these white supremacist billionaires like Elon Musk was an Afrikaner, and Trump, no, you can't do that, and the U.S. has suspended all aid to South Africa. But here's the thing: China said, "We'll we'll match dollar for dollar plus what the U.S. is taking back." That's the New World Order. Cuba, which is still, its economy is crippled by the U.S. trying to starve it. Tremendous deprivations, and it creates, in addition to just hammering the standard of living, it creates political problems. When people are hungry, that's when the CIA and whatever. That's when you can mess with people, send agents in there, whatever. But the situation is improving, and I'll tell you why. Because now you've got another center in the world where China's at the center of that, and and Cuba just joined the BRICS. So that's not going to solve. I'm not saying that's going to solve their problem overnight. They still got a ways to go. They still got to they're still struggling uphill. But all of a sudden, you understand, things are a lot better. See, the big news that's all over the bourgeois media, perhaps over social media, I'm not sure, is that Trump is ending the war. There for the U.S. war against Russia, the proxy war. But this is not because he's a pacifist. Believe me, if Trump could do it, he would send the Marines and every bomb it got just to smash Russia, to subdue it. But they can't. He wants to end the war because they can't win it. There you go. This is a new world. If they can win it, they do it. But those days are over. They can't win wars, so they gotta do something else. And that's what Trump's foreign policy is. A lot of the bourgeoisie, particularly in Europe, but also on this side of the Atlantic, they're like, "Oh shit, what's happening?" He's overturning the world order of the last 80 years. That came about after World War II, where U.S. imperialism was the top dog, and they had their alliances. All that shit is being thrown under the bus. But that new world order, comrades, I don't want to make something very complex too simplistic, but it's the handwriting on the wall that imperialism and capitalism is on the way out. This is where that is going. We take it back here to the belly of the beast. There's a lot happening as we all know. What Trump has done in about a month, scary, especially for some people more than other people. I mean, part of that is the complete collapse of the bourgeois liberal establishment. That try to, lie about what they do, but have wars and oppress people. But we're doing it to spread democracy and all that shit. The thing about Trump is he doesn't pretend. He says, I want your natural resources. I want you. I want Iceland. I want Canada. I want the Panama Canal. I want what I want. I want Gaza. He doesn't even disguise it. And I tell you, it's not because he's, messed up in the head. If he is, that's not, the essence of it. It's because, he tries to reflect strength. It's desperation. It's a section of the ruling class that's getting bigger and bigger that's freaking out. But it's dangerous and very serious. And, our first priority, certainly as a revolutionary socialist organization and trying to be helpful to a movement that's like mine, is to stand shoulder to shoulder with the people who are under attack. There are migrant workers who are afraid to go to work. Yes. They're afraid to go to school, afraid to go to the hospital, afraid to go out at night, afraid to go shopping. There are trans people who are afraid to go out, little afraid to travel, afraid to go to the hospital. And then we can go on. The federal workers who had a job yesterday, they don't have a job now. And I don't know this for a fact. I mean, maybe you know this, Betty, but my guess is that the majority, not maybe not the majority, a huge percentage of those workers are Black and people of color. Washington, D.C., yes. A huge percentage of it. Okay. And I'm telling you something, that's deliberate. Mm-hmm. That's part of this white supremacist, billionaire-led counter-revolution. But, here's the gist of my message. Of course, it's important to defend those who are under attack. And, if it's trans people today, it'll be a union tomorrow. Of course, it's women. It'll be somebody's community. It'll be, no more Medicaid, no more education, no more funds for education. They're hitting what they think are the easy targets that they can whip up. That's right. This reactionary counter-revolution against. And they see if they can do that, then they can go on to the targets in the working class that may be a little bit more politically harder. We got to make sure to let them know now. No, you stop it now. Don't keep going back up, back all the way up, back all the way up. And this thing with Elon Musk being virtually co-president, richest person in the world, who seems to love neo-fascism, funds, neo-fascist parties, particularly in Europe, Germany, Italy, whatever, and everywhere they are. It's not just because Trump likes it. Who knows? And who cares? That's a reflection of a response to the crisis. That's a desperate effort to save the capitalist system and save U.S. imperialism. It's not just Musk. Musk is the most prominent one, but they brought a bunch of billionaires into the government. This is unprecedented. It's not that billionaires did not always run the government, but they did it indirectly. The Rockefellers, and the Carnegies and the Morgans and the DuPonts and the Fords, they call them up, do this, do that, but they would call them. Yeah. Now they're there. Mm-hmm. They are there, hands on, and they're pushing out the bureaucrats, and the civil servants, and the routine politicians, even the generals who are tied to the old way, because they want to have their own strings. They figure they can't trust. This is literally it. They can no longer trust the bureaucrats. That's right. And the people who were running it before. That's their problem with Biden, Genocide Joe. That's their real problem with him. We got to come in, so we can cut and we can do our our white supremacist counter-revolution, and we can attack Panama, and threaten Colombia and Mexico, and invade ISIL. I don't know, whatever they think they're going to do to save their system. And the thing is, comrades, is this opens up perhaps the biggest and the most real, timely opportunity to do something that, frankly, ultimately has to be our bottom line, changing the system. Yes. Revolution. We got to fight all those fights. So many fronts. Can't do anything about that. That's the way it is. That's people. They fight for the things that they need, not in a year, but, like now. And that's all got to be part of the revolutionary struggle. But the reason why I started talking about the worldwide revolution and why I felt that we have to become more and more conscious of that. And that we're part of it. You know, whether we can feel that, we're part of it.
That's right.
And the world is dependent on us.
That's right.
History is dependent on us. Then what are y'all going to do? We're doing this. We're doing that. We're in Gaza. You know, we're rocking. We're in Nicaragua. You know, we're doing it. What are y'all? You in the belly of the beast. Can't you stick a knife in something? You know, can't you cut something? Cut an artery? Can't you get close to that heart? You know, do something to that heart. Give it a little bit of, myocardial infarction or something like that. You know, and so I'm saying the bottom line that's probably one way or another in the back of a lot of our minds, that bottom line is no longer something that we can't see. It's on the horizon. And it's a chance because the billionaires, some people call it a coup, the billionaire coup, because it's more obvious who's running things and in whose interests are things being run. There's going to be more and more anger. People are already angry. You see how people like what that young guy did to the healthcare CEO? I mean, that scared some people. Well, I tell you, they went too happy in the boardrooms of Wall Street after that shit. But that's just a reflection. That's just a symptom of the pent up anger that people have. Some people, I mean, people are ignorant. They may have even voted for Trump thinking that he was against the system, which is, kind of ludicrous, but, whatever. That's another problem. But there's tremendous anger. And it's our job to take this thing to the next level.
Right on.
That is why we are very much for opening up a new struggle.
Yes.
Yeah. However long it takes, whatever its, initial obstacles are, that don't matter. It's time. It's time to open up a struggle against the dictatorship of the billionaire class. And to open it up blatantly. It doesn't mean that we're not going to fight around all those other things. We connect those other issues. Amazon workers unionizing, Starbucks workers unionizing, Whole Foods workers unionizing, workers there, trans people fight for their rights. It's all, now people always say this, I've been hearing this for as long as I've been in the movement, which is more than a half century, connecting the dots. Well, now it's time to do it.
Thank you.
The world's getting smaller.
Yes.
Oceans don't mean much. We are, the idea that we're all connected, that's not esoteric. That's not something that you can't sense. That's beyond your reality. It used to be, we're isolated for lots of reasons. But technology and all that, which is mostly is, but we got a little bit of it, has drawn us closer. And for those of us who are on the right side, we now know, that we're not just, never were citizens of this fucking country. We are part of the human race. Yes. We are people of the world. We want solidarity, particularly with those who are really under the gun. And not just because we're nice people, which may or may not be true. Oh, it is true, but because that is the way to complete the worldwide revolution. That's the way. And so one of the things that we're doing in the short term, actually, a little more than a week from now, is we're going to have a meeting on Sunday, March 2nd, right here. And that it's a strategy meeting about opening up this struggle, whatever it ends up being called, against the dictatorship of the billionaire class. We strategize. What are we going to do? Where are we going to go? We're going to go to Elon Musk? Want to just tell someplace? We're going, it's Jeff Bezos. Everybody knows who he is, or Mark Zuckerberg, and all the other billionaires. There's about 800 billionaires in this country. Their combined wealth is it's close to $7 trillion. I mean, that's half of the GDP of this country, and much bigger than the budget. Imagine if that money was available for the workers and the poor. Imagine.
Pay taxes.
Imagine. That money needs to be expropriated. There needs to be a revolutionary expropriation of it. We may not be able to do it, but we can say that it's the right thing to do. And we shouldn't wait, comrades. We shouldn't wait. Well, that's wild. Let's wait. No. Let's prepare the battlefield. Let's prepare the ground. Let's raise the consciousness while involved in all these struggles that a lot of our friends and co-activists are involved in.